Hey guys, it's Destiny, and today we're going to be testing the 4-star options for Jing Yuan here. Thankfully, I got him, and he has been amazing. And I cannot wait to show you guys the results of the 4-star options. I will also make a video regarding his 5-star light cone and be testing out essentially the best 3 options in a separate video, which will include his 5-star light cone, Knight of the Milky Way, which is Himiko's light cone, and then the best light cone of this video, just to test out the damage potential between all of these weapons. And of course, if you want to see more tests and Honkai Star Rail content from me, make sure to subscribe, and now let's carry on. So this is Jing Yuan here, and he currently has a signature light cone equipped, which I'll be testing in a future video. But for this video, we're going to be going over the Birth of Self, the Seriousness of Breakfast, which is a free-to-play option, Genius's Repose, and then Make the World Clamor. Make the World Clamor can also be a free-to-play option, assuming that you did the web event, which that might still be going on. I'm not completely positive, but I will be testing this as well. I have all of them at level 40, so it is equal testing. And of course, I'm not going to be using my Superimpose 3 version, since I'm just going to be using the base 1 version. I could superimpose some of these, but I'd rather keep it fair and just have all of them just be one by one by one. I'm just going to be going over what these light cones do, how I think they will personally perform, and then we'll get into the testing. So this light cone increases the damage dealt by a wearer's follow-up attack by 24%. If the current HP of the target enemy is below or equal to 50%, you deal an extra follow-up attack damage by an extra 24%. With it being superimposed 1, you will effectively have 48% for your follow-up attack damage. This could be pretty good for the Lightning Lord, as the Lightning Lord is considered a follow-up attack. So this light cone, in my opinion, I do believe it will perform pretty well, at least for the damage for the Lightning Lord. Now for Make the World Clamor, the wearer regenerates 20 energy upon entering battle and increases your ultimate damage by 32%. Personally, I don't think this light cone is the best on Jing Yuan, because he heavily does revolve around the Lightning Lord, and the Lightning Lord is where you get a huge chunk of your damage. Of course, his skill and his ultimate can do a good amount of damage, but personally from what I have seen and just based off how the Lightning Lord operates, that is where you'll get a good amount of your damage. So I personally don't think this light cone here will perform as well as the other 3, but we don't know that until we get into the testings. Now for the Seriousness of Breakfast, you increase your damage by 12%. So opposite to the Birth of Self, where you get that 24 and then the additional 24, you only get 12% here, but it just applies to everything since it's the wearer's damage. For each defeated enemy, the wearer's attack stacks by 4%, stacking up to 3 times. This can be pretty good for just getting a 12% attack increase, so you're getting a damage increase and an attack increase. I think this light cone here might actually be pretty good for him as a free-to-play option. Lastly, we have this light cone here, which increases your attack by 12%, and when the wearer defeats an enemy, your crit damage is increased by 24% for 3 turns. I think this light cone will be okay. I don't really think it'll be the best though, since the crit damage increase by 24% for 3 turns can be pretty useful, but I don't think the attack increase is as good as getting a damage increase for Jing Yuan here. And I personally think that the other light cones may perform well or even better than this light cone. I do still think Serval's light cone though, Make the World Clamor, will perform the worst, but now that I've gone over all the light cones here and what they can possibly do, I think they possibly might be great. Now let's get into the testing and see which 4-star option is actually the best option at Superimposed 1. So as you see, this is the floor I'm going to do. I'm doing Memory Stage 12 of the Forgotten Hall. I thought this would be a good place to do testings because this enemy is weak to lightning. So to begin, we are going to be starting off with the Breakfast, the Seriousness of Breakfast light cone, and I'm going to be using a hyper carry comp just to see how quick we can clear this with basically the characters that will buff him up as much as we can. So there we go, we're just using all 4 of our techniques here just to see what we can do. So we have this first wave here, and I'm going to just start off by buffing Jing Yuan here to the best we can. Going to be using skill, and I will try to make sure I do identically what I do in all my testings. And on the side, you may be seeing testings of another light cone, depending on how long the testings are and of course how long this video is. But assuming that the video isn't incredibly long, I will be having them playing one by one. But if there is a light cone to the side, then I will just have a subtitle of what that light cone is. I'm just doing this so you guys can see the difference. But now what we're going to do is, the Lightning Lord didn't even get to act because we cleared that fast. But we're going to be using Jing Yuan's ultimate here and just seeing how much this outputs. 6,056, so that's pretty good. Now let's just attack there, 2,000. Pretty good as well. Now let's keep buffing him, of course. The whole purpose of doing this is just to buff him as much as we can. Just attack with Bronya. And now we will be getting attacked, but I think it is alright. And unfortunately, I believe even if we use Ting Yun's ultimate here, we will not be able to get back. Yeah, we do not get back her ultimate. I wonder if I actually can see. Yeah, okay, we can see the light cone here. The Seriousness of Breakfast superimposed one. We do have Ting Yun's blessing right now, so that's pretty good. And now the Lightning Lord will attack. Pretty decent damage. We got 6,200 right there, almost 6,300. So overall, this light cone is performing pretty decently against this array of enemies. Of course, now let's just use Bronya ultimate. Just get up more buffs. And of course, once again, in the other testings, I will try to replicate as much as I can. Okay, there we go. So overall, it seems like, okay, that was a really good hit right there. So overall, we're doing pretty good damage, if I say so myself. And this is just an overall, this is how much damage we're roughly doing with the Seriousness of Breakfast. So now I'm just going to show off another light cone. I feel like this light cone did perform pretty well. So I'm going to test out another one now. So here we are again. I'm just going to be using our techniques right here just to get our buffs. And let's see the damage potential now. Now I'm using, by the way, Make the World Clamor. Once we get into the battle, I will show that I have it equipped right here. Let's just go to Light Cone, Make the World Clamor. And this is the superimposed one. So just got to keep that in mind. And now we are going to buff Jing Yuan again. We're going to use this. That was pretty good, I would say. Now let's buff him up more. Of course, there are crits to consider when using Jing Yuan. I probably shouldn't have ultimate there, only because he already has 10 stacks. But we're just trying to see how much damage output he has. That was pretty decent overall. And also, it is fair to say that I will get the ultimate early due to the fact that Make the World Clamor does give me extra energy. So I was able to get my ultimate quicker, which can result in you having these 10 stacks here with the Lightning Lord. So overall, that is pretty good. Now let's have the Lightning Lord attack, and overall, that was okay damage. Now we're just going to keep buffing him with Ting Yun. We could just attack with Bronya here. I will be getting attacked, which is pretty similar to what happened last time, but we're just trying to see the damage potential that this light cone has in comparison. It might be, honestly, that all the 4-star light cones might have pretty similar results, but we'll just see how they all do. And of course, now we're going to buff up with Ting Yun. I remember using that, and now we're just going to use this again. There we go. We almost have the ultimate, not quite yet though, but it is okay. We could just attack real quick with Ting Yun. And now we're just gonna wait. I'm gonna, if he were to get attacked, that would have been great because we'd have more stacks, but it's okay. So with only 5 stacks, let's see how much damage we do. There we go. And now we are also getting the damage bonus or the damage buff from this Forgotten Hall, but since I am playing the same Forgotten Hall, I think it is a-okay. There we go. And now we are going to weakness break him with the ultimate. There we go. Pretty decent damage, I would say. So now he is frozen, and then we're just playing along, doing what we can. Okay, there we go. And now let's just see how much this does. So now let's go on to the next light cone. Okay, so now we're back in here, and now we are just going to use our moves again, our techniques. There we go. And there we go. Now let's see how this light cone I have equipped performs. I'm just going to show you guys real quick. This is the light cone we have on now, which increases our attack and our crit damage when we defeat enemies. So technically speaking, because we will be defeating these little mobs, we will be able to get that crit damage increase. So if we crit more often, I believe that Jing Yuan overall will be doing far more damage with that. So I'm just going to do this. There we go. And now we're just going to skill again just to see what we can pull off. So there we go. We have our 10 stacks again. I will use the ultimates as well. Let's just see how much the Lightning Lord does do right here. I know it'll defeat it, but there we go. That's how much total damage we did. Now, if we were to do our skill and then ultimate again, let's just do that real quick just to see the damage output. And of course, with the hyper carry comp, he will be doing probably more damage than your usual level 40 light cone on him. But overall, the point is just to show off his damage output. So there we go. And let's just see what happens here. Now, the Lightning Lord does have the 8 stacks. Relatively speaking, we are doing pretty similar actions in the order just to see what happens. I will just attack normally. Then the Lightning Lord strikes. There we go. Now, if I were to do Ting Yun ultimate and Bronya ultimate, let's just see what that does for the skill real quick. So there we go. Get that Bronya ultimate off. Now let's do this. That's how much damage we're pulling off. And now we do have our ultimate again, so I will just use it again. There we go. And now we can just attack normally, break that. And then we could possibly buff him again. Just do that. And now we will have 10 stacks again. So let's just see how much damage the 10 stacks does do. I'm just going to freeze him just so the Lightning Lord can go ahead and do its thing. There we go. That is with the 10 stacks. I'm sure there were a few crits in there. So overall, I actually think that this light cone, just based off what I'm seeing, is performing so far not the best in comparison. So that is something to account for. So now we're going to go into our final light cone of today's video. Okay, so we're starting off the same way. Let me just show you guys the light cone here. We have the Birth of the Self. Personally, I think this one will perform pretty well. It's either this one, I feel like, or the Seriousness of Breakfast that will likely perform the best. But there we go. And now we're going to skill again. There we go. And now we're going to Bronya once again. Now, it does make a difference whether or not the E1 does trigger, but let's just see how much a normal skill, or normal attack rather, does. There we go. And now I am going to just do this just so he can have 10 stacks. That kind of is a waste of an ult, but I think in all the other testings we did have 10 stacks. So I'm just going to try to stay true to that and be able to do as much as I can. Now let's see, can we actually knock him out? Yes, we can. So now we have us and then the Lightning Lord. Perfect. So now we're just going to skill, and now our Lightning Lord is maxed out. So there we go. That's how much damage we did. So that's relatively decent, I would say. Now we're just going to do our normal attacks. We are going to be getting attacked once again. Now the turn order is a bit differently now because of us one turn clearing with the other, or rather in the previous turn. So overall, we're just going to do this. And now because I do have the Bronya ultimate ready, I will be using it. There we go. Now we're just going to skill again so he can get more stacks. We're going to do this once again. More stacks. He does have his ultimate ready, so I will actually be using that as well, because now we'll have 10 stacks again, and we can just see how much a 10 stack does once again. There we go. That was quite a hit. Alrighty, that was quite a lot of damage in comparison. I mean, I did have all these buffs are currently on him. So we do have quite a lot of speed buffs and the benediction. So that was quite a lot of damage though with the Lightning Lord. So that was really good. I do expect that though from this light cone to perform better when it comes to his Lightning Lord. So let's just keep going. I'm going to keep going just for a little bit just to see, let's say with 5 stacks, how much damage does that do? So now we have the 5 stacks. I'm just not going to use the Bronya E. I just want to see personally how much this will do. That's pretty good for just 5 stacks. And he did go down from the shock from breaking. And then we have our Zila by ourselves. I'm sorry, Zila, you do not get to shine today.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
So overall, based on our testings, relatively speaking, I feel like all the light cones performed a little bit similarly. I will say though, from what we just saw with the Birth of the Self, that was quite a lot of damage that did occur, but it is due to the fact that I believe because of the health of the enemy, I'm not too sure if they were below 50%, because that means we would have gotten that 48% increase. When it came to the Lightning Lord, I feel like this light cone did the best regarding the Lightning Lord. I think that the Seriousness of Breakfast was pretty good as well, because we did get these attack stacks and the damage increase. I will probably say that at the top, now I have seen other people do calculations that the Seriousness of Breakfast is actually a bit better, but I'm just saying when it comes to the Lightning Lord, just based off what I just tested, of course there are crits to consider and every situation will be a bit differently. Now the other ones I feel like did equally as well, or just some of them did a bit better than others when it came to skill and ultimate damage, but it kind of just does depend on which you prefer, because I still think that this light cone, if you're heavily focused on making your Lightning Lord super strong, I think this light cone's pretty good. But for people who are free to play and cannot get access to the Birth of Self, then I think the Seriousness of Breakfast is a really good option as well. I think at the top I would say is the Seriousness of Breakfast and the Birth of the Self, just based on how they performed. And then Make the World Clamor can be possibly third, and then the final one would probably be the Genius one, since I just don't think the results were as great personally, but that's just overall just based on what happened in these 4 tests. And I will be making a video, of course, with Jing Yuan's light cone, the Knights of the Milky Way, which is Himiko's light cone, and I will actually just test the Seriousness of Breakfast and the Birth of Self in that video. I think I'm just going to test all 4 in the next video, or if video coming out soon, I will do that instead. But overall, let me know what you guys in the comments down below are using on your Jing Yuan. And of course, if this video did help, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And if you have any questions, let me know. Just to give you guys one final reminder, of course, about this video. The crits do possibly matter. I can't fully control the crit or not crit, so that is something to consider. So for example, if you're having way more success with one light cone over the other, crits can come into play with that. Your overall crit damage comes into play. There are multiple things that come into play. I did use the same relics throughout the video, but overall, I think all of them are decent options for the most part. Let me know in the comments down below if you did get Jing Yuan, or if you're still pulling, or if you're actually going to skip him. Just let me know. Granted, I would be a little confused how you got to this video if you're planning to skip him and you somehow made it all the way to the end. I'm really curious how you got here, but if you did, leave a secret message. Just say Fruit Loops in the comments, and I will know that you are skipping him, but you still want to know what light cone's good on him. We're just gonna say Fruit Loops. And I better not see someone who has Jing Yuan say Fruit Loops, because I know that's gonna happen. You know what? How about we just all say Fruit Loops? If you get to this point, say Fruit Loops. If I see nobody say Fruit Loops, I'll just say Fruit Loops. It's okay. But once again, I hope all of you have a nice one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a bit long, but I had a lot of fun making it. And if you guys have any suggestions for how to make these sorts of videos where I test out light cones and show you guys the damage, let me know in the comments down below. And of course, I hope you all have a nice one. Bye!